Hello everyone, this is Jack and welcome back to my channel. Previously, if you've watched my DIY makeover bathroom video, this is part 2 of it. I did have to split it up into 2 sections because there was just so many DIY projects that went into the bathroom. It looks super simple when you look at it and when you're inside the space, but a lot of time and effort went into it. I also wanted to note that I spent about $200 on the entire renovation or makeover, if you will. Actually, it's not a renovation because I didn't break down any walls or whatever, but the total amount for the supplies that I had to decorate was roughly $200. All right, let's take a look at part 2.
Alrighty, just to give you a refresher, or if you're new to my channel, go ahead and take a look at part 1 first and then come back to this video. I have it linked at the end so that you can check it out, as well as the description box below. This was the before in my bathroom. As you can see, it's super plain, really ugly. And now that I'm going for the green, gold, and white look, the blues and silvers kind of no longer match. I ended the previous video gilding the hardware in the bathroom with a splash of gold, and so next up is dyeing my bath towel and hand towel green to match the environment. This is my first time dyeing anything, and since I'm using a whole bottle of dye, I decided to also dye my partner's Ren Fair shirt. He's had this shirt for over 10 years and it started fading and having snags on the wrists, but it still has a lot of life left, and so we wanted to darken it with a little bit of dye. I love the blue of my towel, but it is really faded, and I had bleached my hair previously, like literally almost 10 years ago, and the bleach had stained my towel in places, and so what better way to refresh my towel while blending it into its environment. Online had recommended to put a little bit of dish detergent as well as some salt while you're heating up the water before you put in the dye so that it adheres to the fabric better and lasts longer. Like I said, it's my first time. I also made sure that my partner was around so that I could get help just in case, because you are dealing with a lot of hot liquids as well as a live fire on the stove. So just to be aware of your surroundings while you're doing things that are new. Make sure that you submerge everything completely, and they actually recommend you to also stir occasionally, and that's where I kind of dropped the ball, because later on I did notice splotches of areas that were dyed more so than others, but it kind of gives a little bit of a cool monochromatic tie-dye effect, so I didn't mind it too much. Just note that it is something that you kind of have to do to make sure that all the creases don't have air bubbles and every fiber is getting soaked with the same amount of dye.
Do you want yours to come out in 30 minutes? Or do you want it to stay in there for a full
60?
Yeah, this is a perfect vessel for this. Alright, can you come here? Oh, she hot. Alright, cold water only. This is a splash. Ooh, it's really yellow in here, but it's pretty close to this color right here, which is really nice. Thought it would be more green, but it's very beautiful. Okay, I took every single green Sharpie I had because I totally forgot to dye this, which is my kitchen hand towel that I may have taken from an extended stay at one point. And so I'm going to try coloring every other block like a checkered, but like green. We'll see how it goes.
Someone said that you can cure this by drying it in the dryer right after. So I'm gonna do that. Color looks good. I'm literally just gonna go in this order because I really like the color combos. I also have a second towel of like this, so I'm not too worried about it being messed up because I have another one, and this is kind of gross anyway. It's stained. I can't really bleach it because of the pattern. These fumes is getting to me though. I'm actually gonna check out what this Sharpie looks like next to it because I'm thinking these are a little close. I wonder if I should have done every other one. It's like a moss gradient, and I mapped out the colors based on this order that I'm gonna keep for the rest of them, and there's no repeats, so that's good. However, the problem is I think I'm gonna run out of markers because it's not bleeding through like I thought it was going to, which means it's a good towel, but that also means more fumes for me later. Okay, so I ran out of ink on some of these. I'm gonna have to replace them. I kind of did the math, and I need about 4 of these per side, and then this covered the entire one. It was brand new, so yay. Bruh, so this print is literally the same print as the one on my toilet, and for $8.99 I could get 2 of these hand towels, brand new, to match the decor. I don't know how I want it to be super matchy, and it's even $1 cheaper than buying the Color Burst permanent markers set and this 1 count of aqua. What the hell? I was really kicking myself and like face palming the whole time because this could have all been solved by dyeing it again. Okay, I must say that I'm like thoroughly impressed because I ran out of Sharpie and I just wanted to know how much was left, and that is what's in here. And then with these permanent marker types, similarly, it's like that much. So if you compare the two, they're roughly the same size, and yet Sharpie is like double the amount of ink in here. I'm not sponsored by Sharpie at all, but I do want to recognize quality over quantity. You will be paying more for a Sharpie, but it will last so much longer. And the tips, they don't really like wear out either unless you're really pressing hard. I'm pressing pretty hard while I'm coloring, but not like firmly down. I'm at an angle, 45-degree angle. Also, shout out to pensandpencils.net. Again, not sponsored, but they are much more affordable to purchase individual pens than Amazon and other places that are like the department store of office supplies. And also the chisel ones work best. Wow. This lasted a whole side. So I really wanted to stick with this new experiment, and I'm glad I did because the outcome is actually pretty cool. Okay, I got some good news and some bad news. Good news is my Sharpies came, which is pretty cool. Bad news is I did test it because this does not look like this. And this color is the bottom one, and this is like a bright blue. The lime, however, is this color, and that looks better than this permanent going on, and it's very close, so I think I could work with that. Okay, just like I was able to blend black and the same green to make that color, I'm using my art school skills to do this yellow and green to make this color, although I think I swapped these two by accident. It's really close to this one,
But yeah, this is not the same as this, even though they got similar caps. Alright, loving this mossy landscape coloring, and I finally got these two off of online because pens and pencils were out of commission until May 1st. Let's see if it's the same thing. So far it does match my old pen. Man, this towel is gonna freaking literally cost like $43 by the end of this. I don't even know if I should have it just as decor, or if people should use it, but yeah, this color is mint. It's discontinued, so let's see. Not quite it, but you know what, I'll take it. It's kind of close to that one, actually. We're doing it. We're completing it today. It's been too long. Finally completed it. And now to seal it, you're supposed to like put it into the wash, I believe, or the dryer. I kind of got a new mushroom. I may paint this one all white to match the decor, but it's also motion censored. And this one actually changes colors, which is pretty cool. I don't know how long the light is gonna last because the other one is pretty dim, but we'll see. I didn't want to really paint this because, I don't know, I don't want it to mess up the LED, and since I was already sharpening a towel, I was like, oh, why don't I try taking a gold pen and coloring it in, and it kind of works, so that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, looks good. It'll match my bathroom, and that's a sensor. And then while that's drying, I guess we can actually do a little DIY with the cap. Okay, since it's just glue, I'm actually putting one drop in between all of these fins. I don't think that's a scientific term for that. And then afterwards, I'm just gonna hang it upside down and see what happens. Because I could always just break it off because it's glue. But if it does stay, that'll be cool. Can I use this glue to like hold it up? Kind of makes my glue look cute. Probably should put something underneath it just in case. I like it. So for the bathroom, I actually have two shelves that I want to put up just to decorate with some candles for mood or whatever. I chose this design. There were a couple of designs, and it mounts onto the wall like so. Oop. And then this is the base. I feel like I'm in school again, kindergarten or something, trying to find what shape goes into which hole. The square hole.
We know what hole that goes
The
into,
triangle.
right?
Triangle.
That's right, the square hole.
Anyway, this is really cute. It's kind of good to go. I may put gold on the outer perimeter of this. Not really sure if I like this, but you know, I don't have a wood shop, so that's what it is. And then I also have this one, which is bigger, and it has two shelves that kind of go like this. And I actually tried to color the back parts that won't be seen with Sharpie. So like this one is a gold Sharpie, and then this one is a copper Sharpie, but I didn't like how they looked. It looks very, I don't know, fake. So I'm gonna try painting it with my trusted thing because I love that pearlescent sheen. So let's see how it goes. I also think I'm gonna like kind of outline some of this I was gonna draw outside of it. Maybe I'll do it in the copper because it's gonna be messy.
So yeah, I had these shelves for like over a year, and this was the first time that I was gonna install it. Previously, I wanted to install actual floating shelves, but they looked so big and jarring over the toilet that I was just like, you know, I don't have that many things in order to justify putting holes into the wall and putting this shelf that goes almost past the toilet tank behind me. It just seemed very overbearing. So these were kind of the perfect tiny shelves to hold some of the items that I got from the Magic Market at Heritage Square. If you missed that episode, go ahead and check that out after this video. But I bought crystals from there, as well as some other trinkets that I've found throughout my shrine that you could see in just a bit. This Luna moth was looking pretty good, but I thought that the insides were missing a little bit of ornamentation, and so I looked up reference photos online and decided to make my own design so that it could piece the shelves along with the cutouts a little bit better. At first, I was thinking about doing the moon phases because Luna and moth, but at the same time, it didn't really match well, and there was already a crescent at the edges of this shelf piece, and so I decided to go with a hand-drawn element instead. I also added dots and flared lines because I wanted to tie the rest of the piece together better, and I just kind of let my creative doodling go. I don't usually get to draw like this, and so it felt really good making it a more permanent piece, if you will, with markers. I don't know if you guys get anxiety, but I have a little bit of hesitation when it comes to adding big markered off spots because there's a confidence that goes behind being able to commit your lines. And so this eye part of the wing was just really difficult for me to do because I was wondering, oh, what if it doesn't look good? Do I sand it off? Do I paint over it? What do I do? But it ended up looking okay. So you just have to trust the process and trust yourself for designing a certain way. And worst case scenario, yeah, I could have painted over it with a wood kind of coloring. So no biggie. All right, this is kind of the next project, but it's still within wall art, so I'm going to keep it here. Thought I had extra magazines stored in my fireplace, but I guess I already recycled those.
Okay, so in 2015 or 16, I bought these 4 frames that have these beautiful bathtub prints for $2 each in Venice. Someone was just selling them outside of their house when we parked to go visit. And although they're super cute, they're not gonna match my bathroom right now because my bathroom's gonna be, you know, woodsy green and gold. But instead of just tossing them, I think I'm going to use the frames because the frames are really beautiful, and just switch out the inside with some DIYs. Six and a half by 4.5. But the actual frame is 7 by 9. So I received some gardening magazines from a neighbor yesterday, and I'm gonna just like pick out really pretty greenery and see if I could just like tear them off and then make like arched Mod Podge or something. I don't know.
Don't ask me where my idea came from. I just thought it would be a cool thing to put on the wall, and so it's literally what I did. I envisioned it and executed it. I tore out strips of different imagery that I really liked and had a theme. So it was either flowers or grasses or trees and leaves, and then made kind of a half rainbow effect, if you will. But I wanted to have them symmetrical on either side, as you could see in just a bit. Yeah, that's Bossa Nova playing in the background. It was very zen and really put me in a peaceful collaging mood as I figured out the pieces and where to place them.
Realized I made a huge mistake. I was trying to do arches to frame the butterfly on the wall, but I did 2 up and 2 up on each side. It's supposed to curve down and down. Oh man, I don't know. Because going up both ways is just not gonna be the vibe, I don't think. Ugh. Just made 2 more of these. I'm gonna just finish those and keep them as backup, but for now we're gonna just finish those and then tear new ones for those.
So I ended up making 6 of these because 2 of them were not going to be used at this time, but I actually enjoyed the 2 newer ones that I made afterwards better. And so I started gluing them all down based on the layout that I chose for each of them. And then I was going to Mod Podge over each of those in a glossy finish. And in order to make the sides more neat, instead of cutting them, because I might cut the paper underneath holding everything together, I decided to just fold everything backwards in order to create a thicker structure, and also so I won't lose any art or have white paper exposed on the edges. If I was missing a few gaps, which that happened a couple times, I just tore backgrounds that kind of looked similar, or tore part of the background that was beside the piece that I already tore in order to fill in the space.
So I would like to have these 3 in the future, but for now I'm going to use the top 2, which I'm glad I made extra because these are my second ones and they're pretty good, but I really like this combo. It's like a diamond shape and the colors are very similar, so I'm going to go with those.
These frames had real glass in them and they were quite hazy, so after taking out the prints and putting them into plastic sleeves in order to protect them and use them at a later time, I went ahead and used glass cleaner on both sides before putting my art in.
I don't think this glass was ever cleaned. Even though there's some ruching on the paper and wrinkling, I kind of like the aesthetic. Not bad for $2 for each frame and everything else I had at home already. Don't worry guys, I'm storing these properly so that I could use them another time.
Not sure if these are acid free, but it doesn't really bother me because I don't even know how the artwork is going to turn out in my bathroom where it's going to be high concentrations of steam all the time due to showering. Next up is the installation process. For the position of the Luna moth, I actually eyeballed it and I wanted the frames to surround the moth shelf above and below. So I just made sure there was extra room to have some space above the toilet because I also have a candle that I burn often on top of the toilet tank. Didn't want to catch my frames on fire, so I decided to start out with the bottom, and then I used picture hanging nails. I've never seen these before, but I picked this kit up at Harbor Freight, I believe, and it's been really awesome. It was like a couple dollars, and you get a bunch of stuff, including an eyelet that I actually used to hang the small ivy planter in the bathroom in the last episode. But these eyelets are actually supposed to be used on the backs of frames like this, which is what already exists on these, and you just hammer in these nails and it goes in at an angle designated by the part that holds the nail, and then you just hook it on and it's beautiful. And it's kind of visible behind the frame, but I don't mind it at all. It's kind of more artistic that way, and the hardware is gold. I used 2 screws for the Luna moth shelf, which actually has held up pretty well, and I didn't even have to use anchors because the shelf is so lightweight and everything that I was putting on it was very small and lightweight as well. I totally forgot that my Luna shelf had a light that came with it. It's just a string of LED fairy lights, but I decided to hang it anyway and then mount it with some double-sided tape onto the wall so that anytime I had guests over, I could turn it on with a switch. And yeah, it adds a little bit of magic to the space along with other things that light up in the room while dark. For the triple moon shelf, I started out with attaching command Velcro strips on the back, but just a side note, this didn't last for more than a week. I had to screw the crescent moons onto the wall similarly to how I hung the Luna moth shelf, and luckily the floor mats that were by my bath stopped anything from breaking during that fall. I didn't even put as much stuff as the Luna moth shelf, but I feel like the tape was just not strong enough to hold everything all at once, even with 4 of them. But lesson learned. I mean, I just wanted it super secure so I don't have to worry about it in the future. And also I had a crystal and a couple of glass items on there, and so it was just a good lesson to learn. If you really want to secure your items and won't be touching them, you can also add the museum wax or gel that I had used for my mirror decor in my previous video. For now, just enjoy my original process. Next is decorating. Okay, so I have a bunch of crystals that are kind of cluttering the space, and that's because I'm going to actually move some of them to my bathroom. So all these shells from the Philippines. You can watch my travel tour to the Luyon and where I got these. And then maybe some of these ones. Or those because they're green. I started out by setting all of the shells that I had dove and swam and snorkeled for on the shelves first because I thought that they would be a great border for all the crystals and stones that I wanted to present on the shelves afterwards. Although styling can be fun, it also is very intentional, and so I did play around with the placement a little bit, as well as putting shelves upright or facing face down or leaning against the back for support in order to showcase the beauty of the natural holes that some of these pieces had. Don't be afraid to experiment around with your stuff. It's literally your stuff, so you can put it wherever you want and whatever feels good to you. And this is what felt good to me. Had to place my opalite set of kitten and terrier together, as well as rose quartz axolotl. They are all coated with an aurora layer, which makes them shiny and holographic. Also, this is what the LEDs look like when the switch is turned on. I'll show you what it looks like in the dark during the reveal. For the triple moon shelf, I decided to put yerba santa on the top along with a candle so that I can light it whenever to banish any sort of negativity that I can find coming through my space. My bathroom is the first room right by the front door, and so this is a way to quickly get rid of whatever comes in through the door that is unwanted. I put an arrowhead there from the trip to Santa Fe, but I am not sure how I feel about it since it is pretty flat and I can't see it most of the time. I also put a piece of jade from a money spell previously, and then this bottle has little stones inside of it. It's supposed to roll on your skin as an essential oil, and it's given to me by a friend for being stress-free. I switched out the arrowhead for a crystal that ended up being $5 from somebody who lives in my area, and I'm going to be showcasing something that I make with more clusters of this in the future.
There's a line right here, so I'm gonna just line it up with that. I don't want it too close to the edge of the corner. And then, so this is really cool. They have this, which is nice, cut out. I may save that for future if I need to hang these up somewhere else. Okay, maybe I should just stick this on first. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then next to each other. Let's do a towel test. Okay, that's good. And then, okay, maybe this one goes on this. Oh no.
I had to have hooks in the bathroom because there are no places to put my pajamas or any clothing that I want to change into except for above the toilet lid. And so having two hooks is a game changer in my opinion. It did end up holding the towels, but I actually won't be needing them for that because I have towel bars for each of the towels that I own in the bathroom. Last little piece of ornamentation is this LED light that I found that has little mushroom or flower buds, and these change colors as well and are brightness activated, and so I put them right next to my mushroom because I had extra space, and it covers up outlets that aren't being used in a pretty way. All right, are you guys ready for the reveal? I am. Honestly, I'm extremely happy with the result. I know, like I mentioned, it doesn't look like a lot went through with this makeover, but if you watched all the little details that happen throughout this DIY, you'll hopefully learn to appreciate as much as I do how much little things can transform a space. As we've mentioned before, if you haven't taken a look at part 1, be sure to check that out. I will link each of the parts on its own respective counterpart in the description box below and at the end of each video for your convenience. Comment below on what your favorite DIY was, as well as if any of these are going to inspire you to recreate something in your own spaces.
Alright, so that is the completed version of my bathroom makeover. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it so that other people can be inspired to make over their own spaces to feel more at home. Subscribe and click the notification bell so that you know when I have new content out. I typically post at 10 a.m. every Saturday unless I'm traveling. And until next time, stay safe, have fun, and keep curious, everyone. Jack out.